Anyway, I'm going to take this opportunity to collect some of the upgrades we weren't able to before. Anyway, so at this part of the stage, you need the bounce bracelet and the flame ring. Just hold on, let me get rid of this guy. With the bounce bracelet and flame ring, we can now break these boxes and have access to our final upgrade, the magic gloves. Now, a lot of people really do not like this upgrade. They think it's absolutely useless. They are wrong. I fucking love this ability, and it's a shame.
What does it do?
So I'll show you. Hold on a moment. You can use it to turn enemies into balls. Now, I find there's a lot of places where I actually find just being able to instantly turn them to balls and throw them at other enemies very useful.
There's some applications, right?
Pardon?
There are like some applications of that, but it's like kind of situational.
Like, I mean, everything is situational, but I find it's useful more often than people give it credit. Like,
What does that mean, though?
people don't even try to use it because they see it, they think it's awful, and they don't try to use it. But if you try to use it, you'll find places where it is actually a useful tool. Now, remember my complaints about the sunglasses for Knuckles, where you had to sort of cycle through a menu?
Somewhat, yeah.
So to activate the magic gloves, you have to do something similar. But the thing is that the magic gloves, if you're in range of an enemy, it will always be the very first option. So you just have to press YB. If you just press YB when you're next to an enemy, they'll blow up. So just YB, boom. So I'm actually going to show a fun trick to get a fuck ton of lives. First I have to exhaust all my lives, so...
And what?
So if you get hit, it will spawn a back ring at the where you start the stage. If you die and then touch the back ring at a similar time, well, we'll see what happens.
Alright.
I thought I could do it.
I now have -1 lives. Now, unfortunately, I can't... The fact it still thinks I have 0 lives, so I can't just like restart. So I have to do this one more time.
I thought I could do it.
And with -2 lives, now you just have to pick up a single one up. And the game will grant you the 99 lives. And boom, I now have 99 lives.
Stage.
Amazing.
Time for the final story.
What the? What's going on? Why doesn't the cannon fire? What's happening here? It's my grandfather, Gerald Robotnik.
This is a death sentence for every human being on Earth. If my calculations are correct, the space colony Ark will impact the Earth in 27 minutes and 53 seconds. All of you will be destroyed, along with your beloved planet Earth.
There still may be some time left. If we pull together, we might be able to get to the shortcut that leads to the core.
Yeah, so Shadow knew about this, and that was his plan. Oh, so that recording. So let me get straight here. That was his Gerald's last wish, and they're like, he probably doesn't mean anything. We won't look into things.
I love that exchange where Sonic's like, "I'll handle it. I'm the world's fastest hedgehog," and then Eggman cuts off like, "Let's get to work." And then Sonic's like pissed that he has to do teamwork. I love it. It's such a great moment. Anyway, so I have comments about that last scene. I fucked that up. Cool. So basically, in the original Japanese, the dialogue implies that Gerald actively tampered with Shadow's memory as a way to get him to do this.
Oh. That's interesting.
Now, it's been I've read that. I fortunately do not speak Japanese, so I can't really confirm. But it is what I have heard. So I just want to show this off, even though... so, the Mystic Melodies are used for the Lost Chow missions. Usually, those things will open up a path to the Lost Chow. In Lost Colony, you're supposed to... each use of the shrine will actually unlock a path to the next shrine for the next character. So you sort of have to get them for all the characters, and I find that a neat idea. Haha! That's what I like to call cheating. So, for example, this is the path made by Eggman. So now open this path, and now that opens the path for Knuckles.
System alert. System alert. Energy core save program terminated. Self-repair program initializing.
Anyway, with Rush's Mystic Melody, open up this path. For that Mystic Melody.
Is that the thing you wanted to show? Air tank thing?
Yeah, so this is the part where people think you need the air tank. I'll grant you, it is exceptionally helpful, but it is not needed. See, in this level, there are air bubbles to replenish your air.
System alert. System alert. Primary security lock system terminated. Initiate final defense systems.
Sonic, get past the enemy field to get to the core. You're our last chance. We're depending on you.
So if you manage to spin dash, jump all the way over, you can despawn the switch before it spawns the object which properly counts down. So now time is permanently frozen.
Amazing. How does this affect your time bonus?
Well, time is frozen, so I don't lose time bonus. I do not want to touch that because that would trigger the countdown proper. Anyway, so once you've the final shrine in Knuckles portion will open up this, and I fucked up getting on top of that. But it doesn't matter, because if you freeze time, you don't even need those rings. You could just jump up here. Literally, you do not need the Mystic Melody to get the Lost Chow. Anyway, in every level, the Lost Chow is replaced by 1-Up Capsule.
That was cool!
Anyway, I also got a Chow key, so I'll show off Chow. Kind of an awkward moment, but you know what, fuck it, why not? Yeah, I'm just gonna do a similar thing where I just show Zero doing the final race. Anyway, so here's Zero, the same Chao from my Sonic Adventure. So I actually using external tools. I can look at the stats of my Chao, and there are certain hidden stats. One of those hidden stats is luck, and apparently my Chao has abysmal luck. Like my Chao's luck stat is hilariously small, which means he will he fucks up the Jack-in-the-Box. He will almost always follow the Jack-in-the-Box, which I just find hilarious. It's a metaphor. No matter how unlucky you are, you just need to get strong in other ways to make up for it. Also, another instance of bad luck. He will most likely choose the lane with the pit. He did not choose the lane with the pit this time! Yes! Woo! Some of those lanes have pitfalls that you'll fall into.
Exhilarating.
That was the fastest. That was probably the easiest match against Flash ever. Like, Flash is the one Chad that you could potentially lose against. But that was nice. Anyway, so that's those are the things you could do with Raise a Chao for them to race and fight.
Ooh, I hate it when they leave me behind.
She must be very hateful then.
Shadow.
Oh, that was big.
All people who live on that planet, give them a chance to be happy. Let them live for their dreams. Shadow, I know you can do it. That's the reason why you were brought into this world. Sayonara, Shadow the
I
Hedgehog.
promised her, and I must keep that promise. That's what
Shadow?
Maria wished for. I've got to go now. I have to keep my promise to Maria and you.
I'd like to point out that Amy's character is getting other characters to do things.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, so this auto is somehow recreated in here?
They probably designed the core like the shrine to harness the power of the Chaos Emeralds.
Right.
So this will completely unrelated, but a criticism of this game's cutscenes that a lot of people bring up is that characters will interrupt each other. And there are times where it's just because of poor timing and issues with the script timing in Japanese versus English. There are times where I think it actually makes sense because in real life people cut each other off all the time.
What did you say?
Exactly my point. And a perfect example is when Shadow was thinking to himself that he must save people, and Amy would just inquisitively go, "Shadow," in the middle of Shadow's monologue. That is exactly how that would go down. So I like that. Anyway, here's the Biolizard. People think this fight is as hard. I both completely agree and completely disagree. It is weird.
How could anything be hard in this game? It's easy. So, joke about how they ended up with the hedgehog?
There's actually a fan theory about why.
Oh, this will be good.
I'll explain it in the credits, because I feel like that's just a perfect place to tie up loose ends. Oh, that's unfortunate. Rings, I want a ring. Fuck, no rings. Well,
Just don't get hit.
okay, that's not my fault. That was just the homing attack fucking up. You know what? That would be funny if I was succeeded. Yeah, no, that failed miserably. Yeah, PSA, do not use the Lightspeed attack to try to ascend the Bio Lizard.
Is it gone? Is that what chaos control is?
So the line should be, was that chaos control? Not, is that what chaos
Exactly.
control is?
That makes a lot more sense.
Sonic?
Can you hear me, Sonic? Shadow? He's very weak without his mighty forces. Aim for the red swelling area to damage him.
Hit the glowing red spot for massive damage.
Yep.
Shadow, let me collect rings. Keep.
He's still very powerful. What kind of monster is this? How are you doing, Sonic?
There's a lot of dialogue you could hear in this fight, which is interesting. And if I suck, we might be able to hear more of it, but
Now it's up to you, Sonic.
Shadow, you need rest. Let me give it a try.
Sonic, we're in danger. The colony will enter the atmosphere in about 4 minutes.
oh yeah, there's the time limit. Around the 5-minute mark, you will automatically die.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Do you get a special thingy for it?
What do you mean special thingy?
Think is there a special thing scene that plays?
No, you just sort of randomly revert into regular Sonic, and then
No, there's no like special cutscene.
no. Like, as the battle continues, there'll be more effects added to the fight, but there's no special cutscene for when you actually fail.
Unfortunate.
Of course, this phase is such a fucking pain in the ass that we might.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Literally, it's super good at protecting itself.
Good.
Can you hear me? Sonic, Shadow, everyone here is rooting for you. Good luck, and give him trouble.
Here I come, you creep!
Oh, this is Live and Learn?
Yeah. Should I just waste time so that you can hear more dialogue?
Sure.
Shadow, your power's getting weaker. Hey, are you okay?
Watch me. I will fulfill your wish.
Shadow, continuously using your super form will cause you to disappear. Get back to the colony.
Sonic, I think I've discovered what the ultimate life form is. It might be you. Sonic,
It's up to you, Shadow.
I've been I missed a little bit of that, but
here I come, you creep!
Shadow is called Sonic the Ultimate Life Form.
Oh.
There's no way to stop it now. You're out of time. Get out of there.
I might actually not be able to.
Switch places with Gabe. You're
Where are you gonna go, Amy?
Oh, I managed to get it. Woo! Yeah, so there's basically dialogue about Shadow's super form being unstable, as well as Sonic being possibly the ultimate life form.
No way that's getting through!
Shadow, I beg of you,
Maria.
give them a chance to be happy.
Now, Shadow!
Chaos Control! Maria, this is what you wanted, right? This is my promise I made to you.
Now, I actually like I think it's a clever way to stop the colony by using chaos control to stop its momentum.
Well, you've... it's not like they stopped its momentum, per se, but you could just change its location. But sure, it also, you could argue changes to it. It would have had to change its momentum again as well for it to stop moving, but...
But I just think that's a clever use of chaos control.
Where is
most of them
Shadow?
all.
Do you really think that the professor created him, Shadow, to carry out the revenge on all those who live here on Earth?
He was what he was. A brave and heroic hedgehog who gave his life to save this planet. Shadow the Hedgehog.
I guess you're right.
Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
I really like using that word, that phrase. Just, yeah.
So in the Japanese version, he says "Adios, Shadow the Hedgehog."
Amazing.
So I think they wanted to sort of capture that idea of using a foreign word for goodbye.
Like, Maria constantly uses that phrasing as well.
Well, she used it the one time. They just flash back to that scene multiple times.
Yeah, well, granted.
Anyway, so I want to comment about Sonic's line about Shadow was who he was, a brave and heroic hedgehog who gave his life to save his planet. Shadow the Hedgehog. That's actually a callback to their confrontation just before their final fight. In the Japanese version, or in the English, okay, in that conversation, Shadow asks, "Who are you anyway?" And in the Japanese version, Sonic says something along the lines of, "I am who I am, just an adventure-loving guy. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog."
He says that in English as well.
He says something different. He says, "What you see is what you get. Just a guy who loves adventure. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog." And so one thing I like about the original Japanese line of "I am who I am, just an adventure-loving guy, Sonic the Hedgehog," is that it parallels Sonic's line of calling Shadow, "He was who he was, a brave and heroic person who gave his life to save his planet, Shadow the Hedgehog." It's sort of just a nice narrative parallel. It's such a shame that the line "I am who I am" is just something no one says in English and is honestly just kind of an awkward phrase.
Yeah. Wait,
So-
yeah, it's good size.
So, like, it's one of those things where it's like, I recognize the artistic decisions in the line choice in the Japanese version, but it's not something that could really be localized in English that well. But it's just something interesting, because I like how this game tries to have more parallels between Sonic and Shadow, more than just they have hedgehogs and similar abilities. Like I already mentioned the thing with the capsule. So, also, I promised I would bring this up. So the fan theory is, in the Sonic Battle games, it is pretty much confirmed that... Actually, I'm gonna massively lower the game audio because we don't need that anymore. So it's pretty much confirmed in the Sonic Battle that Gerald Robotnik spent a lot of time researching the ancient Echidna tribe. That's where he learned about Chaos and the Chaos Emeralds, and why he developed the Chaos Drives and the Artificial Chaos. A fan theory is that Gerald Robotnik ends up finding the mural in Hidden Palace Zone, which depicts Supersonic fighting Eggman, and uses that as a basis for his design of Shadow the Hedgehog.
Okay.
Which actually sort of strengthens the line about Shadow thinking that Sonic is the ultimate life form. Now, this is just...
Pure conjecture.
It's pure conjecture. It's I sort of categorize it as, I think it's interesting, I like it, however, I'm not going to treat it as if it were real, because there's nothing... Yeah. So, capping off, I want to find something... there's actually an additional backstory from a guide of Sonic Adventure 2 that was only ever released in Japan.
Of course.
And it actually gives some interesting insight. So I'm going to read it aloud to everyone. When Gun Special Forces entered the laboratory, the fleeing Gerald entrusted Shadow to his granddaughter Maria, and made sure that one escape capsule was ejected toward the surface. The whereabouts of said capsule remain unknown.
Wait, what?
In the end, Gerald was apparently captured by special forces afterwards and imprisoned at Prison Island. Now, without Shadow the Hedgehog, there was no longer a way to confirm anywhere if the Shadow that was sealed at Prison Island was a replica created by Gerald or the original Shadow that was ejected towards the surface and recovered.
But, yeah. Are you done?
Yes.
So, like, the first 25% is, like, good, and then it just goes all over the place, and then just starts meandering.
Yeah. So, one thing I liked about Sonic Adventure 2 is that they posed a question, Rouge posted the question, are you even the real Shadow? And the game does not give an answer to that. It sort of leaves it like, there's a possibility that this was not the ultimate life form created by Gerald.
Well, the initial part is her confusion with BioLizard.
Nonetheless, some interesting details about that. So there is a fan theory about why the government was after Sonic, despite it clearly being Shadow. Keep in mind that Shadow was inside a gun facility. The military must have known about Shadow's existence, and they blamed...
We presume that all the factions talk to each other.
But the point is that there's a fan theory where the government blamed Sonic as a way to cover up Shadow's existence.
Of what? Shadow didn't even exist at the time. What do you mean?
Yeah, they had Shadow locked away in Prison Island in a capsule.
Publicly.
That's the point, is that they don't even want to take a chance. They want to just blame it on Sonic so that they could keep Shadow a complete secret.
Blame what exactly on?
All of Shadow's crimes.
Okay, fine.
It is a fan theory, after all.
I think there's a few problems with the speculation as well.
And also, given that this was like written at all with adding this doubt, like if the Shadow in the Prison Island was the same Shadow that was ejected from Space Colony Arc, you would think that was somehow documented somewhere in official documents. The fact that they explicitly said that it is unknown does raise genuine confusion. Now, later in the series, we'll just be like completely unapologetically, yes, you are the Shadow the Hedgehog. I kind of don't like that. I kind of like how in SA2 that there is that the open possibility that it wasn't the real Shadow. I just find it has sort of the story has a bit more intrigue that way.
Of course.
And then being like, no, you are indeed the actual true Shadow the Hedgehog, ultimate life form, and all that stuff. It's just like,
Well, when do we get to the next game? Shadow's dead, right?
yeah, Shadow's dead. That also being said, in Sonic X, they actually added an interesting detail that wasn't in the games, and I actually like this detail, that there were actually 2 capsules ejected from the Space Colony Ark during its raid. So one of them obviously contains Shadow. What does the other one contain? Again, they never bring it up, but it's sort of just adding a little bit of spice of mystery.
Ambiguity.
Yeah. Yeah, not mystery is not quite the word, because mystery implies it's something to be solved. Not actually, no, I take that back. Mystery doesn't necessarily imply that, but it's like not necessarily mystery to solve, but more just like add that little spice of uncertainty to what happened, the truth of the past. Anyway, I like it. Anyway, this stream has probably gone all long enough, so I'm just gonna call it here. Thank you, Empathy Perverse, for joining for that brief moment in Sonic Adventure 1. Thank you, Veil of Taylor, for the single comment in Sonic Adventure 2. Thank you, Gabriel, for joining, and though she's not here, thank you, Olivia, for making Amy's playthrough very entertaining. With that, I will see everyone next week.